Hey folks, I wanted to get into a little bit about gasoline direct injection, fuel injection systems and like that. We've kind of covered a little bit about the port fuel injection, and now we want to go a little bit deeper. Now, the direct fuel injection is going to be the most, getting to be the most common type of fuel injection system there is out there. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to go ahead and start my screen share and kind of give you the insight of gasoline direct injection. All right, so you should be seeing gasoline direct injection systems on your screen. Um, some safety precautions that really need to be taken seriously when it comes to the direct injection systems are much higher pressure than your standard port injection systems or your throttle body systems. Your throttle body systems were pretty low. Maybe 10, 15 pounds per square inch. Then you got into your port injection system. They started somewhere around 30 to 45 PSI. And then you got some of the systems that went up as far as 100 PSI. But when we go into direct injection systems, they can be in the thousands of PSI, which they do that to actually overcome the actual compression pressure, because we're going to show you why in just a second here. So if you look at the old standard over here, port injection systems, and they actually sprayed the fuel right behind the intake valve. On direct gasoline direct injection and even diesel direct injection, they inject it right into the combustion chamber. And this is where it needs to have the extra pressure to make that happen to. The injectors are going to be more bulletproof than the standard ones that we have like this. They can't be pushed out one, and they actually, like I said, there's a lot of pressure inside and that it has to overcome, and it's going to be a little more constructed, a little bit stronger. You'll see here a valve here and a valve here. They don't really show a good picture of the exhaust valve, but you can see here's the intake valve, which is the spring going on here, and here's my actual spark plug. So it's going to spray in a fine mist. It doesn't show fine enough here, but you get kind of the idea. And instead of having to have fuel coming behind the valve, it actually, all the intake is going to do is bring in straight air. Here's another kind of diagram of going up all the way from the fuel pump, and then we're going to have a low pressure pump, and then we're going up to a high pressure pump. So we talked a little bit about fuel delivery. This changes the ball game again. So we're going to take a certain amount of pressure and feed it into the high pressure pump right here. This high pressure pump is driven by the camshaft on the actual valve here. So we're actually should be the intake, and here's the exhaust. So off the intake valve, you'll notice it's kind of mounted right up on, it looks like right up on top of the valve cover. If you look at some of our engines up at the shop, you'll see that it's right there. And this is going to increase that pressure quite a bit. Like I said, from hundreds on up to thousands of PSI. They are actually, here is an actual gasoline direct injection system on it, and it's controlled by the actual fuel pump. The fuel pump can actually spin at different speeds because we can actually control it. We kind of did that a little bit in our port injection, but this is getting to be a little more critical because we want to have that pressure quite high when we actually get to that point. Here's another example of here, and this one here also has, this one actually, instead of being right here, we're actually going on the edge here to actually drive our pump this way. So again, we're still going a low pressure to a high pressure, and this is where it gets to be a little bit of, a concern. You'll see that after here, sometimes it's just a really short tubing. But if it does have any kind of extended tubing, it's going to be metal tubing. It's not going to be your rubber hoses going across. And you notice it's right inside the combustion chamber again. Here's showing that actual pressure pump. bringing up the pressure really quite high. And here is my, if you were to take one out, you can actually see how it's actually set up. Here's another one right here. This particular system here. You notice it's really tight, very, very little connection loss. And then my pressure sensor, make sure I have enough pressure. This is the design. The fuel injector is at the top of the cylinder and sprays right directly into the. You'll notice that the pistons change shape because of this too. They want to have enough swirl action, and they'll change the shape of actually a piston heads to make this all work too. So there'll be piston designs, is what I'm trying to get. So notice how this one sprays. Look at the piston design on this particular one. It's the way it is. And believe me, if you put these pistons in backwards, they actually, I've seen guys take them, put them in the wrong way, and I look at this, wait a minute, it can't even spray against it. Can you imagine it spraying against this side over here? It's kind of difficult to do, but I've seen it happen. Here we go, another one, a tumbling force. All right, here you have, direct injection and port injection, and this is how much efficiency we can get and how much we can burn in the fuel, and how the RPM changes. We get a little more torque, a little more horsepower out of it that way, and also get as the RPMs go up. Now this is a common kind of drivability issue that we have. The thing with all engines, they actually do kind of get a little bit of deposits into it, and then depending on the fuel, you're going to have more deposits, less deposits. Yeah, it's a good idea to make sure that you keep the system clean. Use a good grade of fuel. There's some additives you can actually do also, but one of the things that we've discovered with the direct gasoline injections are start having the same, well, I shouldn't say the same, but the similar issues that diesels do. Diesels have a problem with a particular byproduct, and the particulate matter actually gets pushed out when you have a lot of filters going on to actually keep that from getting out into the atmosphere, where here we have carbon deposits, kind of fuel residues because of it. And this is some of the things that we look at as we go across. We're talking, when we start doing some inspections of engines, stuff like that too. You'll notice the pipe, it's solid connections. It's not going to be your rubber connections, like I said before, because we're talking a lot of pressure. And you'll notice these little ball sockets on the particular lines. Remnants of an actual diesel like that. Whenever GDI injector is removed, a new Teflon seal needs to be actually replaced or put into it. And that's about it. It was pretty quick because the direct injection systems are very similar to diesels, which are very similar to in a way, but we're just building up the pressure to overcome. Now, why did we go to GDI type systems? Is because we can get we can get a better fuel and emissions out of the vehicle, and those are the big key points. And we can get better fuel economy. We can actually get better emissions out of it. And by doing this, we're actually helping keep a better climate going on. We've got enough problems with all the fires we've got going on right now. Anyways, I just really wanted to say, I applaud all of you for continuing on. Was very impressed with your midterms, and keep up the good work. And I appreciate your time. And I hope this videotape, video, I should say, not tape. I mean, we're out of videotapes for how many years now? But I hope the video was helpful and kind of giving a big overview of fuel systems and going to ignition systems. Believe me, each one of these topics gets deeper. we get into the engine performance class where we talk even deeper onto this kind of stuff. But you kind of get the idea, and we will definitely be getting back to you on the next topic as we go along. You can remember always to inbox me if you have any questions, and if it's a personal subject, please feel free to inbox me first. If it is a general question, and I didn't quite understand what Ms. Red said, but one of your other classmates might know the answer to, go to the student lounge, and the student lounge will actually give you a little bit of space to actually talk amongst yourselves. Remember to always go and respond and post to your discussion groups that we have each week. I really like the interaction all of you are having that are actually getting involved in this. Good stuff, good topics, good comments. So keep up the good work, and I will be talking at you soon. And again, inbox me if you have a question. Use the student lounge whenever you have some general questions. Talk to you soon, folks. Take care. Bye.